Welcome back to the Read Reviews podcast, everybody. Again, like I said, every week we are having updates. And it seems like most of the time they are things that you can't really see, except for the fact that the big glaring one, Cody has left the podcast indefinitely, unfortunately. Yeah, he's gone forever. He got sick.
It's the snakes.
Yeah, it's the don't start with the steaks. Oh my God, that's a reference that not very many people understand. That's a reference that probably you, Tanner, maybe Tanner, Ian, maybe, no. And yeah, that they might understand. Yeah, Ian's watched. That's a kind of funny reference. That's a podcast.
Yeah, every time they had someone off, they was like the snakes got him. They make up some funny stories.
No, Cody's not leaving us indefinitely. He is just sick as a dog right now. So he is gone this week again. So luckily Gavin, even with his boot all broken and all, is actually back for the third time. And he was able to fill in because he only lives 2 minutes from me. 3 minutes from me. What are you doing over there? What's going on with this?
Third time.
Oh, third time. Yeah. Dylan, hit him with the dilly cam again. Dylan's back producing. Round 2. But the big change that we made this week, not really relevant. I kind of got it set up so that we could do future streams where we're actually playing video games, which I'm pretty excited about. But I bought a TV to put up right over here. So we added a little TV. It could also be a confidence monitor. It could be if we're pulling up videos, so it's a little bit easier for me and Gavin or me and Cody or whoever to see, because the TV we had before is over there behind Dilly, and you can't really see it.
Especially where Cody's sitting, the curtain's like halfway.
Yeah, so it's even worse. Yeah. So we're making updates daily, or not daily, but weekly for every podcast. Also, another exciting thing that I did today. Is part of yesterday and today, I mounted my TV in my bedroom. Damn. I was pretty excited about that. It was a big deal, but it was way more of a bitch than it should have been because my TV mounts are supposed to be universal.
Kind of.
Yeah, for like modern TVs. My TV that I have in my bedroom, because I don't really give a shit, it's usually just kind of a go-to-sleep TV stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't care about the quality. I don't care or anything. So even this TV, how much do you think this TV was?
1080p.
Yeah.
$150.
Close. It was $118, I think. It was real cheap. It's a $118 TV. So
that's pretty ridiculous.
That's why I picked it up. I was like, damn, I could set that up. That could be pretty nice. But now that I have it, it's honestly a little bit small. I thought it would feel a little bit bigger, but 40 inches, I guess, just isn't as much as I thought.
Nothing nowadays.
Yeah, but I thought it would feel a little bit better. But the one that I was mounting in my room and everything that I had going on with it, it did not fit.
Yeah.
The wall mount didn't. I don't even think I should try to explain why it didn't, but it didn't.
It's like the part that actually, like the mount attaching to the TV, I'm guessing?
Yeah, the mount attaching to the TV did not fit onto it. No, the holes lined up totally fine, but where the holes were on a lower surface than
They don't come with spacers?
It did come with spacers, and we missed that, but Dylan and I looked after because I went and bought some aftermarket spacers. Really? The spacers looked like they wouldn't have been enough.
Gotcha.
We don't know for sure, but so yeah, it was all fucked up. Yeah. I was pissed about it because it ended up taking me last night, and then I was stressing and trying to do it quick before I went to volleyball, and then I went to volleyball, and then we went to dinner, and then I came home, and I was like, okay, it's just not happening. Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing.
Same boat. Haven't upgraded my TV for forever. Probably won't unless I have a ball-in house with a. And then at that point, a ball-in house.
Ball-in house.
I'd want to buy like a freaking giant one.
I thought you said bong in the house. I was like, I mean,
freaking got two of those.
Yeah, that doesn't seem too unrealistic to get in there. I mean, I bought the big TV, the 65-inch that I have in the living room. I bought that when I bought this house, so 2.5 years ago. Yeah. It wasn't a super expensive TV, but it's a 65 4K. It was $600.
Now I want like a 75 or an 80-inch.
That's real big, Gavin.
And I kind of want it to be OLED because OLED just fucks so hard.
What, Dylan, are you judging?
No.
Dylan gave Gavin a look where he kind of was just like, you want a TV that big?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Another fun thing that I wanted to talk about on the podcast real quick. Dylan, can I talk about your secret project? Just a little bit. I'm not going to say many details about it.
What is my secret project?
I don't know. I guess you do have a lot of them. The one you showed Gavin when he got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dylan's making a video game. He's making a video game of Spokane called, what is it? Bone what?
Mash.
Bone Mash. And we went over last time when Dylan was on the podcast. His band is called Bone Mass, so he's making kind of a GTA style downtown rendering of Spokane, Washington, where we do this podcast out of, where you can like interact and walk around in it and go into certain clubs. And
Dylan, are you gonna be able to render that many bumps outside?
Yeah.
no, it's not possible. Not possible. So that's pretty cool. And I'm in it. I'm the bartender, and I look great.
Nice.
It's pretty sweet.
I saw on Discord it shows a little preview of what your friends are doing, and it showed Dylan and his brother Jake in there, and then he's putting Jake's face on a freaking NPC.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it looks. It's horrifying. I love it.
Didn't like it.
It's part of the aesthetic, man. That's the point. But when it comes to movies and TV shows and video games, we won't be talking about video games unless you got something to talk about.
I actually do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're going to start with talking about Vinland Saga again, which was the Viking anime that we talked about a little bit last week. Basically, just if you watched it at all, we're not going to go over everything that we went over last time. It's going to be pretty quick, but it's basically just this anime show about Vikings invading England, if you want to put it simple. And the last 2 episodes, and obviously we're going to spoil these things. I don't think anybody that's watching this has probably even watched this show, but if there is somebody out there, we're spoiling it. And that's kind of what we do here. We're spoiling every time when we talk about stuff on the podcast. Unless there's kind of a unique situation where Cody and I are both not on the same page of where we're at, then we'll kind of talk over it. But the 2 episodes that I watched before Gavin got here, I wasn't even planning to do it, but I had some time, and I was like, I'll watch a couple episodes of these, because that's the nice part about anime is they're usually like 20-minute episodes.
20 minutes episodes. You
Not even.
3 of them in an hour.
Yeah.
That's one HBO.
That's good math. Not even, dude.
How long? So
Dune Prophecy episodes are like an hour 10.
I was going to ask. I watched the first 2 episodes of that, and they are so long.
They're
I was like
long.
sitting there, and I'm like, is this going to end? I'm like, I kind of want to go to sleep. I'm like, fucking.
But it's probably the same length as Vinland Saga because it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, but it's 24 versus whatever.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. But I'm hooked now. I was enjoying it when we watched the first 4 episodes or whatever it was. I think it was because I'm pretty sure the 4th episode is when he pops off.
So yeah.
Yeah, I just watched. Yeah, and then I watched 5 and 6 today. Also, I realized that there's 25 episode seasons, which makes sense on anime. That's pretty typical. But they were pretty good, and I got hooked. So I didn't realize until I kind of got an idea once we had watched. I saw like some thumbnails. We watched a trailer for. Yeah, last time we watched a trailer for Vinland Saga, so I got kind of spoiled and figured it out. Mm-hmm. But I thought the show was going to be about Thor as the main dude.
Yeah.
I was totally convinced. And then they kill him.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. It's always interesting to see how they're going to kill off the super OP guy that nobody can touch, and he's just nuking people even though he's supposed to be a normal man.
He pretty much just gave himself up.
Yeah, he just gave himself up, and they just shot him with all the arrows. So the last 2 episodes has been his son Thorfinn, yeah. Thorin's the name of one of the dwarven kings in the Hobbit movies.
I just watched the
Thorin, son of Thrain.
First Thor, like yesterday.
Wow, that's random.
Not good.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's not that bad. But I got sucked in from these last 2 episodes because the kids in animes are always so annoying because animes are so much screaming and anime-esque.
It's like, how do you make a kid be emotional and not want to punch him in the face?
Yeah, he just screams. He's just always screaming. He's just always going, yeah! All the time.
I couldn't remember if I watched it in dub or sub, like Japanese or English, until I heard him talk, and I'm like, I did not have to do any of that. Yeah. Which is why a lot of people like watching Japanese. It's just usually the voice acting's either different or just you don't have to listen to annoying ones if there is an annoying one. If there is bad voice acting, pretty much, then you just watch Japanese and it doesn't matter.
I think the thing about anime that bothers me so much is just everything is so dramatic. Yeah. Everything that happens is so dramatic. I'm like, okay. That's why I hate those like Grey's Anatomy type shows or anything like that girls usually like a little more. Those super dramas that are kind of like turn off your brain and just maybe cry a little bit.
Yeah.
Those things are just so dramatic. I'm like, okay. I need some sort of realism to tie me in. It's not that. This show isn't that bad. It's really just that kid that does it.
It's pretty much him, and like as it goes on, I think you'll notice it less and less because he matures as it goes on and whatnot.
What I was going to say is that the kid's a 6-year-old kid, and he keeps trying to fuck. He gets stuck with the guy that killed his dad, and he keeps trying to challenge the dude who killed his dad to a fight, and he keeps just getting his ass whooped. But he's a 6-year-old kid, so obviously. But now I don't know. They didn't really say what the time gap was, but I bet he's 10 or 12 or something like that. It's probably been a few years.
He's like 12. I bet you if you like really looked into it, they would tell you.
Well, they gave you years in the show, but
so
I couldn't remember what the before years were. But the current year is 1002 from where I'm at in the show. But he's older and he's a little taller, and something I told Gavin when he got here, something that got me a lot with it because I'm a sucker and I love Star Wars, specifically Star Wars: The Clone Wars, that TV show, and Ahsoka in that show. A little bit later in the series, she ends up getting these dual blades, and she holds her. There's an actual term for it, but she holds her blades backwards. One of them's a shorter blade, one of them's a longer blade that she holds backwards like this and fights with them. The kid ends up getting a shorter blade and a longer blade that he holds backwards, and then starts jumping around and fucking people up and killing them with it. I'm like, okay, this is cool now. This is cool.
Has some of the coolest combat because he's literally just like jumping around like freaking Yoda in a second.
And Ahsoka. And he fights like Ahsoka does.
Literally just jumps and like freaking stabs people in the neck. And it's always, as you'll see, he's fighting full adults as a 12 or 13-year-old. Yeah. And like some of them are like giants. Like some of them are 7 feet tall. Yeah. Freaking giant people who can like throw ships and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, they insinuated that and like, or not insinuated, they foreshadowed that in the second episode or whatever when he's fighting with which I didn't know, when he kept getting his ass beat by the other kids when they were playing the war games in the village there. All those kids were older than him. They were like 9 and 10 years old, and he was like a 6-year-old, and he was like holding his own but still kind of getting his ass beat.
Broke one of the kids' arm at like 8 years old, and everyone was like, oh, that's your son, like you're fucking giant and strong, your son's gonna be giant and strong too.
And so now it's cool to see him because they, like I just said, they foreshadowed that, so now he's a 12-year-old fucking up full grown adults, and it's pretty sick. So yeah, I got suckered in these last 2 episodes. I wanted to keep watching, but we had to record the pod, so I'll probably be watching after we finish up here, which I'm pretty excited about. Because I need something to watch too. I'm kind of like, I don't really have much right now.
I would love to get you, especially because I feel like you enjoy like long storylines. Like one of my favorite things about the MCU is like how long it is and how you have like these overlapping stories that like intertwine, and like same with like Game of Thrones where you can like have 3 people in the room and then all of a sudden they all go on their own different journeys and then come back together and
like 5 seasons later.
Yeah. Which is like essentially what anime is, and I just really prefer longer form entertainment, and there's not a ton of it out there, especially in like
that's insane how high you're getting that
live
right
action.
No, and it only really comes in on those few rare cases where it is the Game of Thrones or it is like the HBO show, or maybe you get like
you get an HBO show that's like season thought, because like the Penguin has that, but it's like not really, because it's like you can't have foreshadowing that's like 10 years in advance because it's all comes out in like a 2-month span.
Yeah, or you get lucky, you get like a Breaking Bad, or you get a, I don't know, Mad Men or something like that. Is Mad Men HBO or is that AMC too? I can't remember. Don't, you want to look that up? It's HBO. I also want you to look up can you look up Netflix real quick and the name of that Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz movie? That's the next thing I want to talk about. That one will be really quick. But
is that the Molly one that everyone's talking about?
No, but Matt was telling me about that last night, so I might have to check that out too. Back in Action, that's what it is. Anyway, I'll finish up with Vinland Saga. I'm going to keep watching it. I actually enjoy it quite a bit, so be prepared to get weekly updates on that potentially. Might have Gavin on it quite a bit more if I have if I finish the season and I want to talk about the season finale. Because you haven't watched 2, right?
No, I haven't watched the second season. It's like not really a spoiler.
Okay.
But season 2 is another time skip, so he goes from being like 13 to being like 20 something.
Oh, so he's going to be a kid for the rest. I'm not even halfway through the season. He's going to stay a kid?
Yeah.
Okay. At least he's a badass now.
Mm-hmm. He'll get like more mature emotionally, but
I mean, he already is. Like we were talking about before, he's already not doing the just kid screaming thing. Maybe he'll do that a little bit. I'm sure he will. It's anime, but he's not doing it as much, and his balls drop, so he's got a little deeper voice.
I had the same thought last time of like a comparison, because I've been going through an MCU phase, been watching all of them, watched all the Guardians.
Dylan did a little bit of that too. I think he dropped off a little bit, but he did that for quite a few.
Infinity War and Endgame, first time since we saw it in theaters, really, because it's just so much.
I have watched the Avengers Assemble moment probably 20 times on YouTube.
Yeah.
In Endgame, when he calls everybody through the portals.
Yeah.
Din 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 din. I love it. It's goosebumps every time, dude.
Anyways, had like a reference of like Star-Lord and who's the bald dude with the blue mohawk with the arrow?
Yondu.
Yondu, or like kind of the same relationship as this Thorfinn and his teacher, where he like hates him, but it's also like a father-son type deal.
Oh, the fucking swordsman guy that killed his dad?
Yeah, because like they both
What's
like...
that guy's name? I don't know.
Remember. It starts with an A, but I can't pronounce it right. It's
Asshole. Ooh, that is pretty loud, isn't it?
Really
Can you turn down the mic sensitivity?
Put a gate on it.
I didn't think you would. Well, it's probably good now.
We'll do it in post.
Yeah, it quieted down quite a bit, so it might be fine. But
yeah, I'd like to talk to you once you finish it, because it has a very fun ending. I like the ending of the first season. You could have ended it there, and it would have been a season.
I can tell where it's going now already with their relationship, and it just makes sense. It's more foreshadowing. I'm like, okay, I'm excited to see how this relationship builds and where it goes to, because it's fucked up. And that's what's cool about the show too. You said that it's gory. There's blood and like arms chopped off and stuff like that, but it's fucked up in the sense of stuff that happens a lot, like with that HBO show and with The Penguin, where they're not gory. They're not super gruesome. There's not a lot of like hardcore sex scenes like HBO stuff used to be. The gore factor in general isn't gnarly, but the things that happen to people and what they do to each other is super gnarly, and how it's just like psychological torture.
It's the fucked up experiences of like, hey, this is old times Vikings. They're gonna pillage and rape these people, and you have to like watch the kid like try to
deal with that as a 6-year-old.
Yeah, like the episode he just finished watching, he like goes to the village first, scopes it out, kills a couple of people who are trying to attack him, and then tells the villagers to leave, and then his group gets there anyways.
And they don't leave.
And they kill everyone.
Yeah, and you could just see it mess him up, or even when you just see him go into the town after they pillage the first one, after his dad gets killed, and he just sees everybody murked, and he won't eat any food or drink anything from all of them, and this 6-year-old is just getting tortured.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so it's going to make for a really badass dude. He's probably going to have some real character flaws, because he's going to be real fucked up.
Makes you
from
think
his trauma
of just like what people in general came from. How that someone probably had a life similar to that.
Yep. Yeah.
Not that anime-ish, but
no, not. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're not screaming like the kid does in that kind of drama, but yeah, it's probably just as gruesome, if not more, and probably more than what shows did their depictions of it. But we can move on, because I'm going to talk about this next thing real quick, because this isn't anything special. Dylan pulled it up for me there. I don't think he's sharing that on the screen. Doesn't look like it. No,
it's not.
It's called Back in Action. So every once in a while, especially if I'm like just not in the mood to dive into anything or watch anything that's like a super highly rated critically or even by the audiences, like this movie isn't one of those kinds of movies. This movie is called Back in Action, with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. And Sydney and I watched this a few days ago. I don't know, maybe on Friday or Thursday. I don't know.
It is a movie, right?
Yeah, it's a movie.
Okay.
It's a Netflix movie, like a straight to Netflix release kind of movie. So that can already tell you a little bit about it. That it's it's at best it's going to be fine.
I think they're all like 7s though. Like none of them are like terrible.
No, they got bad stuff, and they have a couple of really good things, like Stranger Things, and they had a House of Cards back in the day, but they don't have many.
That didn't start as straight to Netflix, right? They bought that.
No, that was straight to Netflix. Pretty sure. Dylan, you might have to look that up if Stranger Things was the original Netflix release, but I'm like 90% sure.
I thought Netflix bought it and then came out with another couple seasons.
No, they did that with Cobra Kai. And Cobra Kai is sick.
What was that on originally?
YouTube TV.
Oh, that's what it
when
was.
YouTube Red, that's what it was called.
YouTube Red, yeah. They were actually trying to make TV shows.
Yeah, and they came out with Cobra Kai, and it was dumb and cheesy as hell, but it built a cult following, so it ended up becoming popular.
My stepdad Mike really loves that show.
I really love that show. That show's the shit. Gavin, you got to understand, you got to get yourself into the world where karate means everything. There's no politics.
It was created for Netflix.
Yeah, Stranger Things? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Gotcha.
But Back in Action was a very silly, dumb... I called it a rom-com at first, but it's not a rom-com. It's more of like a action comedy type of movie. So it's Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. They're both spies. In the beginning of the movie, that's an intro. I'm going to go through this thing really quick because it doesn't matter about diving deep into this movie. Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz, they go on a mission. They end up getting this thing called some super key. It's basically like...
what did they call that in Spider-Man?
What did they call it in the Fast and Furious movies? It's called like Orion or something. Oh. They get this key that lets you... it's a key that lets, or like Odin's eye or something. It lets you see through every camera and have every access to every camera on the planet all at the same time.
Yeah,
so you can track anybody instantly. But basically, they get the key to something like that in this, and that's the MacGuffin of the movie.
MacGuffin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, MacGuffins. That's what they're called in movies. So they crash in this plane. They fake their death because they're like, hey, we can't be doing this because they find out that Cameron Diaz is pregnant and they love each other and all this stuff. So they go home and they flash forward 16 years later, 15 years later or something. They have their 2 kids and living normal suburban life. So you can tell exactly where this movie is going.
Yeah.
It's very simple. They're raising their kids. They're not super great at it. They have to lie to their kids the whole time. And then their old life ends up catching up with them, Gavin. I bet you wouldn't have guessed that. But their old life ends up catching up to them, and then it's just them going through the answers of that. They beat people up. Their kids end up figuring out what they do. Their kids end up learning how to fight too naturally just because their kids have spies, even though one of them's 12. It's basically like anime level. Yeah. So it's basically anime level like that.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. It was fun. It's exactly what you expected to be. It was a dumb little action comedy movie, and it was fun to watch. It was a little bit long, I would say, because it's over 2 hours, I think. And I think any comedy movie that gets over 2 hours, unless it's like 40-year-old virgin, you're running into danger territory because they just those movies just a comedy movie can't be, because it's not like you're building out some long elaborate story. There's really no reason for them to be longer.
There has to be something like, did you watch something onion? It's like Knives of something onion.
Yeah. Glass Onion.
Glass Onion, yeah.
I think was what it was called. I did not watch it.
That was like, you didn't watch it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that was a pretty.
I don't care if you spoil it though.
That was a pretty good one where it was like a comedy, but it was like a murder mystery, and they actually had like a fun mystery at the end, so like kind of captivated you. But if it's just something like 20 minutes in, I can predict the end of the movie, you're like, hey, you gotta make this end.
Like Glass Onion and Knives Out, those were a different level of like. Was Knives Out a comedy too? Because I think those are made by the same person.
Yeah, I think it is.
I didn't see either of them, but those are like a different level of movie and comedy. They're like, those are like people. They're in a different echelon. Like this movie's like just dumbass movie. Is what I call it. I guess it's not. No, it's definitely not a good movie objectively, but it was fun to watch.
It sounds like that Netflix original with Adam Sandler and Sandra Bullock, and they just went straight to Netflix.
I don't remember that one. Adam Sandler's had a lot of those. Yeah. Happy Gilmore too, man. It's coming. I think it'll be fun though.
So, anyways, how was it?
It was fine.
I feel it's a perfect me and my girlfriend don't have anything to watch. Let's watch this.
Yeah, a go to bed movie, just right before bed movie, after dinner kind of thing. Yeah. Like it's not something you need to.
Don't have to pay attention. You can be on your phone. It's fine. Blah blah blah.
But the action, the choreography in it was pretty decent. Jamie Foxx, I like Jamie Foxx. He's good. Cameron Diaz, I haven't seen in something in fucking 10 or 15 years. So it was interesting seeing her. She still looks great. So shout out to her. She looks the same. And they both got to be pushing like their mid-50s, I bet. Maybe closer to, maybe not 60.
No, I bet they're both in their 50s. I bet Jamie Foxx still looks the same until he's like 75.
Yeah. Cameron Diaz might too, man. At this rate, I can't believe how good she looks. I was surprised because, like, Cameron Diaz has always had that kind of. She's always looked unique, where like her face. I don't even know how to describe it, but she's hot, but she's got a weird face. I don't know what it is, but she looks the same as she did like in like Charlie's Angels to me. Yeah. Still, so shout out to Cameron Diaz, looking good. Next thing that I want to, unless you talk about something first.
Yeah, I want to talk about something.
What you got?
I don't know if you even heard about this, but Xbox is now pretty much just a publisher. So
I've caught up. I've been keeping up with this a little bit.
When I first heard it, I was like, oh, like they're gonna release, like they're gonna do their Starfield and like some of their other titles that they bought from like Bethesda or whatnot. Like the new Indiana Jones is going to PlayStation, which like I expected for it to go to PlayStation eventually. What I didn't expect is Halo Master Chief Collection is going to PlayStation.
Oh, that finally is announced? How'd you find out about this? What'd you see it on?
Like YouTube Reel or something like that.
Okay.
Gears of War, pretty much just everything. Like you could buy a PS5 and play everything you could play on Xbox One. That's whatever the fuck it's called. And like the only difference would be you don't get Game Pass. So I don't really understand why anyone would buy an Xbox nowadays.
Xbox is I mean, it's official that PlayStation has won with that announcement.
Well, the thing for me, though, is it's always been a thing that you don't make your money on the consoles. So, like, it's always sold at a loss, but it's fine because you can make it up with all the games you sell.
You build them to sell games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I feel like Xbox still going to make more money because, like, everyone on PlayStation is going to buy a copy of or Halo.
Have they said they're not going to release another Xbox?
I bet they still do.
Maybe one more?
No, I bet they... Game Pass, I think, is making them a lot of money.
From what I've seen and what from people have been telling, like when I listened to Colin's Sacred Symbol, Colin's Last Stand, and granted, I know they're pretty biased towards PlayStation stuff, and they say so, but I still think they're pretty objective with what they say. I haven't listened to Kind of Funny's like actual gaming news enough lately, so I don't know what they say about it.
But he's a bit on Kind of Funny has a bad take on games. Like,
I know that's what you always say.
Greg has a good take, and like sometimes Andy does, and everyone else is just terrible.
That's how it is, man. People got their opinions, but. Everybody on Sacred Symbols, they seem to say, like, hey, Game Pass is not making them that much money because they've gone in and broken down the numbers to, like, how it makes sense and, like, how much money they put into it and how much their acquisitions have cost and, like, how much they're charging for Game Pass. And, like, this just doesn't make sense. The only reason that Xbox is able to do what they do and acquire Activision or Call of Duty was because they are owned by Bethesda too, is because they're owned by Microsoft, which is a massive company, like way bigger than Sony. They're both big companies, but Microsoft dwarfs Sony
like a lot.
So they have the money.
Famous for their camera sound.
Well, PlayStation makes them the most of their money.
Yeah,
I think. So that's the difference you can tell, and I'm pretty sure in Xbox's case, they're like 5 to 10% of Microsoft. So they don't mean much like Sony does or like PlayStation does to Sony. But what I'm getting at there is the reason that they can acquire stuff like that is because they're owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft can shell out $3 billion and it's not much of a problem. Mm-hmm. But when you do that for so long, that runs you at a deficit. And even if you have all the money to be able to buy these things, if it doesn't end up making returns at some point, you're fucked. So I don't know. I'd have to look in those numbers again. But I'm interested to see how Xbox kind of plays out with all that stuff.
The Game Pass thing is interesting because it's kind of just like a gym membership, like same idea. You're going to have a lot of people who buy it and use it every day, all the time, and then you have a lot of people who buy it and play Call of Duty every day for... It doesn't matter. It's pretty much the same of them buying one Call of Duty game at $70 versus $12.99 a month or whatever the fuck it is.
Dude, for the consumers, it's fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
For consumers, Game Pass is the shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the value that you get out of it is crazy, but I think that's why it's a problem. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that... And it sucks to say this, but I don't think that they charge enough for Game Pass. Yeah. And it makes sense when you think about it, because it's only like $20 now for gold. Or not gold, but ultimate. So Xbox Live and...
Yeah, it's $20 if you have an Xbox. You get Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass, and like pretty much everything else. You also get like EA games, which is new. And then it's cool as a PC guy. I can pay like $11 a month and get Game Pass and everything, and you don't have online fees.
Damn, Dylan, maybe I will get the PC. Fuck the PS5 Pro. It's just so much easier, man. Me being somebody who doesn't mesh well.
PC on the pod right now.
Yeah, that seems a little.
I will say,
that's too much.
God of War Ragnarok just came out on Steam, so you can almost at this point, if you're on PC, you can play every game, but PlayStation games come like a year later. So
that would be pretty tough because most of the games that I'm interested in, where I'm at and with my video game life, is playing those PS5 exclusives that come out, like Intergalactic, the new Naughty Dog one. You saw that? You didn't see that at the Game Awards?
I didn't watch
Dylan, pull up the Intergalactic trailer real quick. But God of War, Spider-Man, and all the Insomniac games that are coming out with like Wolverine and the other Spider-Mans and some other stuff. Don't play it yet. Just open it up and pause it if you can.
Gotcha. Do you see Marvel Rivals is like a hot game now?
Dude, it's huge. People are loving it. I want to hop in on it. I know, and it's Overwatch size?
I don't know if it's that big.
That would be insane.
It seems like, for like streaming wise at least, a lot of people are playing it.
Can you share this to the audience?
This?
Yeah, the video.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Dylan loves it. All right, just kind of skip through this a little bit because I don't want to watch the whole 4.5 minutes because that's a lot.
You gotta watch out. They're gonna take your AdSense.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a real big problem.
I
But
can't read that.
here, let me.
Well, no, it's in a different language. Dude.
I know. I need to turn this down.
I'd just turn that off because it'll pick it up on the mic.
Wait, where's that audio coming from?
His laptop.
No, wait, the laptop's not that loud. Sorry about getting blown out. That's probably loud in the mic. Just turn that all the way down. Is there any audio coming out of this? No, there's not. We're going through technical difficulties, guys. This is just how it's going to be.
So who makes this? Naughty Dog?
Naughty Dog. This is their newest game that they announced at the Game Awards.
Naughty Dog is... What is Naughty Dog?
They make The Last of Us and like Crash Bandicoot and Uncharted.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is their new game. Dylan, you can, like I said, go ahead and skip through it just a little bit. Skip ahead like a minute at a time every couple of seconds, honestly.
So far it just looks like freaking...
It looked like Mass Effect when I was first watching the trailer, but you dive into it a little bit.
Cyberpunk vibes.
It's cyberpunk, but it's in space. And she's watching anime, of course.
Jordan, tell me
Skip through
something
another
good.
like minute, 45 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like Starfield.
It doesn't look like Starfield.
Excellent.
No, trust me. What? Skip through it.
No.
Give it a couple seconds here.
He's not working.
She kind of looks like Ripley. Amanda Ripley, just a little bit. Or not Amanda Ripley, but...
I'm wasting my time right now.
Wait, Actually, I don't know what Ripley's first name
Please
is.
swim in. I don't need another hunter swooping in.
But
Who is swooping
I'm
in?
pretty sure, I don't remember for sure, but this is like in-game. Like this is an in-game cutscene.
Yeah.
So it looks fucking awesome, of course. And then Dylan, go ahead and skip towards the end where we get, they show up like a couple of seconds of gameplay at the end. And it's cool. It looks fucking awesome. And then got this really good like 80s synth vibe going on here. The
Dude, it's
Adidas.
wild how much...
She's got a Porsche spaceship.
Oh yeah, it's a Porsche spaceship. She's wearing Adidas shoes and a Sony sound system.
Yep, they're just
It's
accepting that
crazy.
they're fully chilling out. And I like it because it kind of connects it to our world too.
No, I like that too.
Yeah.
But what is it then? Is it Starfield?
What do you mean, like open world and all that? Like, are you asking what genre it is?
Like, what is the game gonna be like?
I don't think we know, but watch this. You'll see gameplay here in a second, right here, I think. It's a quick snippet, because this is gameplay right now.
Gotcha.
That's all you get. But that was just their initial reveal trailer of what they've been working on for, because we've known that they've been working on a game here. And I was like, okay, that looks pretty simple. But that I don't want to wait a year to play.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Thanks, Dylan. You can turn that shite off.
If I were you two, as a not as nerdy as I person, I would just buy a PlayStation 5.
See, Dylan's in the opposite boat. He thinks I should still get a PC.
Well, if you had Dylan living in your house, it's fine, but I've run into issues of like, hey, Call of Duty Warzone isn't running great. What do I need to do? Have to friggin' uninstall,
That's what I fucking tell him.
reinstall
Dylan, what's your rebuttal?
drivers.
What?
What's your rebuttal?
To what?
Dylan always just tells me, he's like, dude, just get it anyways. It's not that difficult. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not that difficult for
It's
you.
not.
Maybe it's not that difficult in general. But if I get a PS5 Pro, all consoles I've ever had, I've never had problems. You just turn them on and you can play.
No, I agree.
I don't have to do any troubleshooting. I don't have to do any bullshit. If I can yell at Dylan from across the hallway, that'd be nice, but I'm sure Dylan doesn't want to do that. I'm not going to live with Dylan forever. So I don't know.
Myself, I enjoy doing that thing, so I don't really mind it. But if you're just a freaking person who doesn't enjoy that, then I don't think for you, Tanner, I think you should just get a PlayStation 5 and you can play everything on it.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Especially with how things are now, like with the Xbox becoming a publisher kind of thing.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's whatever, but I really wish Nintendo would just be a publisher. Because they have some of my favorite IPs, and they're so freaking bound by you're on a freaking Switch, and it's like as powerful as the Xbox 360, and it's just freaking...
Who is telling me that the Switch 2 is as powerful as a PS4?
It's a PS4 Pro.
PS4 Pro, okay.
Which...
The original Switch, when it came out, everybody was like mind blown, like this is not going to work, man. It's got no fucking power. It's terrible, but it does work because Nintendo knows what kind of games to put and build on there.
It works fine, but like you're playing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and you go into like a forested area, and your frames all of a sudden go down to like 10, and it's like not a smooth, fun environment. Or even like I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom right now. That's mostly what I've been playing. I taught my nephew how to play it, so then
it sucked you back in.
Yeah, sucked me back in. And just everything about it, you're like, yeah, this looks nice, but like, why can I only see 30 feet out? And it's because your render distance isn't very far. Why is it always foggy? Because your render distance can't be that far.
Yeah, and you can't play that stuff on.
How come when I go to the Deku Forest, it's all like freaking buggy looking? It's just fucking.
Really? I guess I haven't played on them enough to know what issue. Do you think the Switch 2 will make a big difference? Because it's still not that powerful, but it's still portable.
A lot more powerful.
It's a lot more powerful, yeah. But in general, it's. I guess for a portable, it might be. How does it compare to a Steam Deck? Do you know? Or PlayStation Portal, or whatever that's called.
It should be below still.
You can maybe try to look that up, Dylan, if you could see the comparables to a Switch 2, a PlayStation Portal, and a Steam Deck, just like power-wise. I don't know what you would look up.
The Portal's kind of weird because I think that streams off of your...
Oh, is that connected to your PlayStation?
Yeah.
Okay, so it plays off of your PlayStation.
Yeah, so that doesn't really count.
Is the Steam Deck
The Steam Deck is its own thing, and it is probably a little bit more powerful than the... Which is crazy because that came out a while ago, and it's still probably more powerful than what the new Switch that even came out is. But the ROG Ally,
I don't even know what that is.
It's Asus's version of like a portable gaming device. Yeah, and I think it's the coolest version because it runs just straight Windows, so you can play anything that you can play on your computer. You can even like torrent or.
You just scroll down and see what it looks like.
Emulators on it.
Oh, see, that's pretty dope.
So
how much is that though?
They're expensive. They're like $600, $700.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot more than.
But you could play. One of my favorite creators, Linus from Linus Tech Tips, plays Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on his ROG Ally.
Because they're emulators.
60K. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So he doesn't have to deal with all the bullshit that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of that means. What does that look like? Tegra.
This is what it says.
Similar to PS4 and Xbox One. See,
for the Switch 2.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Because I played a PlayStation 4 recently because I went from a PS5 on God of War Ragnarok, and then I played the original God of War 2012, whatever the fuck that's called, on a PlayStation 4, and it looked like shit. Comparatively.
Well, this is saying that if that's true, the Switch 2 will be slightly faster than the Steam Deck's OLED Zen 2 processor, but when you take into account its rumored 12 gigabytes of memory compared to the Steam Deck's 16 gigs of memory, the differences will be minimal. Yeah. So it looks like they're actually pretty comparable, if not a little bit better, except for the memory, which 12 gigs of memory is
that's RAM. That's not like storage memory.
Oh.
So that's like how much RAM you have.
Did it say RAM in there? Why did I not even?
You should just know that because it says 12 gigs. Below that, it says 256 gigs of UFS.
Oh, I see.
3.1 storage.
Are you laughing at me saying that, Dylan? Is it that funny?
Actually, I put it on the dill cam.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, dude, I know I'm a dumbass and I don't know these things, but I didn't think it was that funny that I thought that it had 12 gigabytes of memory.
No, that's a pretty...
That would be atrocious.
Yeah.
That's like
12,
10% of my iPhone.
12 gigs of memory on a console is fine because it's not like you're running like Chrome and Spotify and your game at the same time, so it's probably fine. I want Nintendo to have a PS5 that runs games at 4K and I could play fucking Mario at 4K.
Yeah, I get it.
And I also want to be able to play. I can't play Wind Waker right now because it's not. I'd have to bring out my GameCube.
Well, the game sucks, so don't really need to play it. What I'm kind of worried about with this whole thing is that like console wars are kind of done.
Yeah. Because
Nintendo and PlayStation are totally different things. So they're not even really directly competing against each other. They kind of are, but they really aren't. Yeah. They're just different. Xbox and PlayStation, what?
I'm pretty okay with it. What are the negatives?
That's what I'm going to get into. Xbox and PlayStation do have console wars, so they do have to compete against each other. Now, hopefully, basically what my problem is now PlayStation doesn't have a direct competitor to it. Yeah. And this is why capitalism and like this stuff kind of works. It's like you need to have, and why you shouldn't have monopolies on certain things is because if you get to a certain area, there's no reason for you to have a better price than your competitor because there's no competitor. There's no reason for you to make a better product than your competitor because there's no competitor. Yeah. Now, it is still video games, and you do need to make a quality product to be able to sell them.
Yeah.
So we do have that. But I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. Maybe it'll be totally fine and it won't matter.
We still have PC though. So
but it's not the same because the PC there aren't what is a game that you think of like a mainstream Spider-Man, God of War, whatever, not Uncharted that you think of when you think of PC. Those games aren't a thing. They're usually just better versions of the games that are already out.
I mean, you have certain things like League of Legends or whatever that don't come to PC or come to consoles.
Yeah.
But PC has always just been it just has everything on it, so it's cooler. But
it doesn't, because we were just talking about how it takes a year for those things to come out. It does in the future, and the League stuff. You're right with that, and a StarCraft or those RTSs that come out. But again,
I'm more excited because now Xbox used to be the same thing as PlayStation, where the first Halo came on PC and the second one did, and then 3 didn't come to PC and 4 didn't come to PC, and then now just everything is straight to PC first day.
Because Xbox gave up and was failing.
Yeah.
That's why. Because now it's going to be coming out on PlayStation first day too.
Yeah, which is sweet. Because now I don't have to buy an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Nintendo.
You're right. I'm just a little bit worried that PlayStation's not going to have to be as up to snuff as they have been in the past because they don't have a competitor and they don't need to have better games than somebody else. I mean, I guess you're right. They do have to have better games than PC. But again, they're different, kind of like them and Nintendo.
I think
they're
it's more
different.
just what publishers are hot. Because you still are gonna have Bethesda games freaking when the new Skyrim or Elder Scrolls comes out, that's gonna be a hot commodity. And GTA, yeah.
The biggest commodity.
Honestly, we'd be happy if freaking PlayStation and Nintendo failed and they were just publishers now. Because then...
Gavin, you're talking about a monopoly, though. Those are going to be...
it would just be on PC, and then you still have 20 companies on PC, and you would just buy a little... This is your gaming console PC, and you just freaking plug it in and be fine.
I guess. Yeah, I like your more optimistic view.
Yeah.
Mine's not necessarily that pessimistic. It's just what my mind goes to and thinks of when you don't, because at the end of the day, PlayStation and Xbox were the competitors against each other. Now PlayStation is going to be a competitor against PC, and PlayStation is going to be a competitor against Nintendo.
Pretty much everyone's failed though, if you think about it. Sega's failed.
Yeah.
Atari's failed.
Not Nintendo.
Dreamcast has failed. It's
Nintendo's found their market.
Nintendo and Sony, and then even if you think about Xbox, they're didn't come to the game till 2004. 2000s?
I don't.
Whenever the Xbox came out, I
think it was earlier than that. Dylan, if you could give that a Google, when did the original Xbox come out?
I bet 2004.
I'm gonna guess 2001. 9/11, never forget.
Ooh, what if it's the same day?
It's not. But it was funny because I was listening to Sacred Symbols, and he looked up the release date of a video game, or when a publisher got started, and it was 9/11. It was 2001. Let's go, fucking suck a dick, Gavin. Let's go.
You ever watch J-Slat?
Yes, dude, that guy is so funny. It's his accent. It's his accent and its demeanor and the way that he presents stuff.
The people that send him videos and it just ends up being 9/11.
Oh my god, I'm gonna watch some J-Slat videos tonight. That dude is funny as fuck. Yeah, because of the whole Ludwig universe. That's how I found out about J-Slat.
J-Slat has the most popular Ludwig video.
It's so.
No.
Mr. Beast does. He's got the Mr. Beast. No, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast was gonna upload a video that Ludwig was in, but then didn't upload it, and then he gave it to Ludwig to upload, and it's it's Ludwig's most viewed video, which is pretty funny.
Mr. Beast for president.
Yeah.
Do you trust him more than Donald Trump?
I don't trust any of them. I don't know these people at the end of the day.
Jimmy seems like a nice guy.
He does seem like a nice guy. He's had some stuff come up recently, but it does kind of seem like...
What was his stuff actually?
Oh, a lot. I can't even break it down. You'd have to watch the whole video of it because there was...
I kept on
for the most part...
things and did he have a sexual harassment?
It was hard to find. It was several things. It was toxic work environment, which I feel like every person working anywhere always has that claimed against them anywhere. Yeah. I feel like that always happens.
He also is trying to push the edge so much that it's Katie, you want to work for this cool company? You'll make a lot of money, but you'll work fucking forever.
I think it's one of those scenarios a lot like with Elon. Elon's a motherfucker. I think he's a little autistic. Actually, I think he said he's autistic.
He's straight up autistic.
Yeah. But where he just does weird things. So basically, Mr. Beast, the way that I look at it is he's having people he is on a different level than 99.9% of people that exist in the world. He is going to outwork you. He's going to outdo you in almost every aspect, and he expects those people around him to do what he is doing. And if you're not, he's a little aggressive, I think it seems like, and he tries to kick people out. Why are you pulling that up right now?
Yeah, that's weird.
Why are you pulling that up?
Not that offensive though, because it's like his passion, and he expects the people to be working with him in that industry to be equally as passionate.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not like, hey, I'm forcing you to do this. It's like, hey, if you want this job, you have to do this.
Yeah.
It's not like they couldn't just leave and go somewhere else. Versus like, it's not like a sexual harassment charge where he's like, hey, do this or I'm gonna fucking.
So the other thing that he had, which it kind of sucks because it's not Mr. Beast, so that's why it always sucks. But he is very directly connected with him. Chris. Yeah. His name's Chris. I don't know if he has a different name now,
I don't know.
or she, or whatever the fuck they are now.
He's like canceled now, though, right?
Well, he apparently Chris was DMing and talking to underage children and minors and being overly frisky with them and had sexual harassment things on sets of the shows. So that was another thing. So he did have some sexual allegation stuff, but it wasn't Mr. Beast.
Yeah, that's just like...
Yeah. And then he had the toxic work environments. He had the faking videos. He had... supposedly, and then he had toxic environments for production of the videos where people were complaining about not getting enough food, being stranded on this island, getting heat stroke. So it was a culmination of all that stuff. Like one little thing came out, I think, with Chris, the trans guy.
Yeah.
And then everybody's, of course, they got to do the pylon thing. Yeah. So everybody tried to come out. I think he made it through, and I think he's doing all right. But like, yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on that he needed to.
He seems fine. He has like an actual TV show now.
Yeah, it's the most popular popular game show of all time, I think. Amazon. Yeah, Sydney and I have watched most of it. I don't know if it's all out yet.
I think it is for sure.
Yeah, maybe it's got to be somewhere close.
I watched 2 episodes.
I liked it. It's just like watching a really long, drawn out Mr. Beast video, and I like Mr. Beast videos because I am very easy to please. So I like them.
Don't really like reality TV or like game show things, so I kind of gave up after them.
I kind of do sometimes. It kind of depends on the scenario, but
I kind of just don't like real life drama, so I just want to enclose myself in Viking killing each other.
Yeah, I get it, and it's just way more dramatic, but at least it's not real.
I just want it's more interesting. Like I can go to fucking a coffee shop and talk to some random person about their shitty life, and it's boring.
Yeah, fair enough.
I went to the gym today, and some guy just walked up and he's like, "Hey, I gotta know what happened." I'm like, "Fucking tore my Achilles," and he's like, "Oh, I just broke both my feet." I'm like, "Oh."
He just broke both of his feet, and he was at the gym.
I mean, this is probably a while ago. He said he was in a boot for like 5 months, so I'm sure it's a long time ago.
One last final thing I want to talk about before we wrap up. I told Dylan a little bit about this today because it's cool, and I feel like it's an ideal YouTube channel, like the way that it's organized and set up. I've been watching this YouTube channel called Drum Beats Online. Okay. It's kind of a weird name of the channel for what it actually is, but do you know the band I Prevail?
No.
Yeah, I'm not too super surprised. You might recognize a song of theirs if you hear it, but it's kind of a metal rock band, a little bit of screamo. Yeah, I'm sure. But one of their biggest songs is called like Hurricane, but yeah, I wouldn't think that you would know them, but basically, their drummer started a YouTube. I don't even know if you could call it. I guess it's a vlog.
Yeah.
But what's cool about it and what's different is it's just him wearing a GoPro on his chest and walking around his whole tour that he sets up and everything that and basically a day in the life of a professional drummer. But it's like multiple days. It's like leading up their set, the whole situation. But he wears a GoPro on his chest and it's just him walking around. They leave the audio on of the GoPro and it just shows him doing things and has cuts to the bigger, more important moment, shows him going to the gym, shows how they have to deal with his sound check, and then the end of the video is always them playing the show.
Okay.
What's really cool about it is like he doesn't talk over the vlog. His commentary are subtitles, basically describing as almost thought bubbles in his head.
Gotcha.
So he's saying like, "Oh man, I get really tired after getting worn out doing this thing," or like, "Oh, this is kind of what my diet looks like, and I never know what kind of food we're gonna have at this venue or where we're gonna be, and like I haven't slept a lot," and like basically just breaking down exactly what it's like. And they'll keep the audio on the GoPro a little bit, like I said, So you hear them talk a little bit, but for the most part, it's you just reading the captions of him in there. And it's so addicting. And he's a drummer, and I've been trying to learn how to play drums, so it's that much more poignant to my life.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would recommend watching a little bit of it because it actually is really cool and pretty fun to watch.
The only vlogger I've gone into was, I don't know if you ever watched him, but Casey Neistat used to have vlogs like every day.
Yep.
Absolutely every day. He would release one every day. It was like his little mini project for like a year and a half. And he made just everything he did made it look like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever. He lived in New York. He made New York look like the coolest thing ever. He used to be in HBO, like he used to have a show on HBO with his brother. So he came from like a videography background and then decided to make YouTube because you make a lot of fucking money doing that.
And you don't have any other people.
And yeah, he wanted to do it
if you
himself.
do it right.
And he made freaking New York look like the coolest city ever. He made freaking running seem like, oh yeah, this fucking sounds sick. Like he
just some good editing, good zones, good little set.
He was in the perfect little time frame too, where he could use drone footage as much as you want in the city limits. Because like now you can't do that. Like you can't take a drone outside.
Definitely not New York.
Yeah, and he definitely could. He would be riding his freaking what the fuck were those skateboards called? It's electric skateboard.
Hoverboard? Oh, just electric skateboard? I don't know.
But it's like one of the famous brands. Anyways, he'd be riding that and controlling a freaking drone, following him down fucking New York, Main Ave, whatever. It's
pretty sick.
It's freaking sick. Don't know how he didn't get hit by a car, because literally only traveled on a skateboard for a year and a half, and he was fine.
I hate to admit it, but I also got that was when there was a trend going on. Like right now, the trend kind of on Twitch are marathon streams. You stream until you beat Elden Ring, stream until you beat God of War, whatever it is. Ludwig did his 100-hour League of Legends stream, which was fucking funny because he ended up dead even.
I can't believe he made platinum.
I know that, and last day of the season too.
Can't believe it. I was super surprised because I watched a video of him playing, and I'm like, dear God, this guy's terrible.
Yeah, but he studied and he grinded and he is way better now. And the shit that he knows, it's crazy to watch him play now.
Not to give him too much hate, but he's only played a Moo pretty much.
That's if you really want to grind, you really want to do it that way. That's the way.
What you got to do, but like fucking easiest, simplest champion ever.
Yeah, and he tried playing fiddle a little bit, but
that's way too hard for him.
Then it ended up committing to a Moo. But I hate to admit it because I played, when those. I don't even know, just the daily vlog thing trend was going on.
Even just hearing him talk about League of Legends on like the podcast, I was like, I want to play League right now.
I know. But I'm going back to the daily vlog thing because I watched Jake Paul when he was doing that. Like when Jake Paul was full YouTube Jake Paul.
It really was a trend because like David Dobrik, Jake Paul,
Logan Paul, Casey Neistat. A lot, like all of those big YouTubers were doing daily vlogs and it was a thing. Yeah. And it worked, and it makes sense because if you're going to get out daily content, because what I've been doing now is trying to upload 3 shorts for every podcast that I put out, and I think it makes a pretty good difference, honestly. My shorts average like 500 views.
Have you tried doing TikToks?
I upload to TikTok too.
Okay.
I do TikTok and YouTube shorts for my short videos.
Did the ban fuck up things a little bit or no?
Did the what?
The like 1 day ban, but now it's like not on everything for TikTok.
Oh no, because I fucked up anyways, and I wasn't even uploading at that time. It does seem like I'm getting less views, I will say, but I don't know. That could just because I took a break, because I'm pretty sure I got hit by the algorithm pretty hard just from taking the 2 weeks off for winter break, for the podcast videos. Because I had my best video ever best podcast ever right before the break. That was like 200 views, which is nothing,
really?
But it was dope. For me, that's a shit ton.
Well,
now they're getting like 40, 50 again.
Yeah, I'm just going from 50 or 75 to 200 is a pretty giant leap.
Yeah, there was a good one there.
You have like the whole YouTube analytics, so like are people watching of that 200 that most people like watch the entire podcast, or was it?
I mean, most definitely not, but that's every YouTube channel. Like most of the time, your analytics, like if you're getting a 10 to 20% of people, that might even be high to watch an entire hour and a half long podcast. That's really good. But I don't know. I'd have to look again. I haven't dove too deep into it because I don't really have. Again, we're talking about it like it really matters and it's something, but it's so few people that like there isn't quite enough data to really analyze it and look. Because again, it's skewed because pretty much everybody that watches my shit right now are my friends. Yeah. I know there's a few people that are like randos that are coming in, which is nice and cool to see. But for the most part, it's just my friends. So they'll usually watch most of it. So that makes it a little bit skewed. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I would need to hopefully scale up a little bit more and get to the point where I'm consistently getting hundreds of views. And then there might be enough data to actually see.
I would say too, like, it seems like a better mindset to be like, I'm doing this for fun. To like, it's a fun thing to do. It's nice to have something to do every week, blah blah blah. Versus like, oh, I'm trying to make this. Like, obviously, it'd be really cool to just be a podcaster or this or that, but like, it's not really.
Realistically, it's not really there unless I really figure out how to do something special and stand out a lot. But if not, I could maybe just do it every week and be consistent for a couple of years, and then maybe I can do it as my job. But if not, it's fun, and if I ever feel like I don't want to do it anymore, I stop. But yeah, that's what I talk about, and that's why I'm not diving too into it. I am trying. I would like to try to make it something that made money. Yeah. But it's not like, oh man, if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna be fucking pissed, or like it's like, oh man, it's so defeating because I'm not getting what I want. It's more just. Yeah, it's fun.
Regardless, it's fun, and it's also going to be cool. I've always been jealous of, like, our friend Matt takes photos, like, every 2 seconds. He has, like, 20,000 photos on his camera roll, this and that.
It's too many.
He gets, like, Snapchat memories every day. He's like, oh, yeah, this was what I was doing 7 years ago. And I just don't get that because I don't take photos on my phone ever. And it's going to be cool for you to be like, I wonder what I was doing when I was...
What was I watching? Who was I talking to?
What was I doing when I was like...
What did the studio look like?
When I was 28 years old or 27 years old. I'm like, oh yeah, let me just pull up this video. Or you could fucking show your kids or whatever. For better or for worse.
I'm going to have a real good AI models of me.
Maybe.
Because I've already got... Let's see. So I've got... This will be the 18th episode, and the average watch time, or not watch time, but the average play time is probably, the average length is probably hour 15.
Yeah.
So that might be like 25 hours. I've already got 25 hours of me podcasting. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. I've been in a fifth of the episodes.
Yeah. Congratulations. Gavin, you got anything else to talk about?
No, that's kind of it.
Okay.
I guess I watched Dune Prophecies, but...
We'll talk about that when we get Matt on and when we can dive a little bit deeper into it and talk about all the spoilers if you watch it.
I'll watch the rest of it. It's, again, just another political fucking puppet show, and that's...
But it's good. They do it well.
It's good.
And it gets better.
I will say I hate the main...
Yeah, Valia. Something like that.
Yeah,
It's
Valia.
Valia. Tula's her sister.
Anyways, fucking hate her.
Yeah, that's you're supposed to.
As soon as she was like, you see the young version, I'm like, oh yeah, she's fine. And then you see the older version, and I'm just like,
oh, you're a cunt.
You just look like a cunt. She looks like the girl from Harry Potter, the freaking professor in all pink.
Yeah, the pink lady.
Yeah.
No, not Dolores. Does it start with a D?
Dolores.
Why can't I think of her name? Doesn't matter.
No,
but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more because I want to finally actually get Matt's bitch ass on because he's like, dude, I feel like you say my name in every podcast. I'm like, I probably do, but honestly, I think I say most of my friends' names every podcast. But he wanted to actually get on. But if you can watch those by next time, we can have Matt on and actually talk about it.
Yeah, I just started like last night, the night before.
You got the time, boy. Watch him.
Fine.
Watch him. But yeah, other than that, thank you everybody for tuning into the Read Reviews podcast. I'm excited to see what other fancy, cool feature we have for you guys next week. And also, like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. It doesn't seem like much, but what I'm talking about with Gavin with those analytics and all that shite,
also,
it makes a big difference.
Pray for Cody. You got snake attack.
Yeah, he got snaked. Watch out for those snakes out there, everybody.
Yeah,
thank you.
Your asshole.
Bye-bye.